corruption conviction overturned, mayor seeks reinstatement. Japanese tourist scammed by fake QR code at Taiwan airport. High rents drive mobility among Taipei renters. Conservative and pro-Trump candidate wins Chilean election. South Korea's ousted president plotted martial law to eliminate rivals. Staff strike forces Louvre to close doors to visitors. Meet the biggest heat pumps in the world. Avatar composer reveals the secrets behind a 7-year soundtrack.
Hello, I'm Helen. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Wednesday, December 17th, Bright Brothers Day, and here are your top stories. And for today's Taiwan news, the High Court has overturned Hsinchu Mayor Ann Cao's corruption conviction in the second trial, sentencing her instead to 6 months for making false entries by the public officials, convertible to a fine. With the corruption charge revoked, the legal basis for her suspension no longer exists. The Hsinchu city government has applied for reinstatement, and the Interior Ministry said it will process the request according to law. Amid worsening Japan-China ties, more Japanese tourists are visiting Taiwan. However, a Japanese woman told Asahi TV she was scammed $50 after scanning a QR code at Taipei airport last month and filling out what she believed was Taiwan's online arrival card. Authorities said official registrations via the TWAC system is free and should be completed only through the immigration agency's website. After Taiwan's rent subsidy program took effect, clear trends among renters have emerged. A 2024 Interior Ministry survey shows Taipei has the highest rent among the 6 major cities and the largest share of tenants planning to move within a year, reflecting pressure from high housing costs. Most subsidized applicants paid monthly rents between 5,000 NT dollars and 10,000 NT dollars, followed by 10,000 to 15,000 NT dollars. And in global news, Chile's ultra-conservative former lawmaker Jose Antonio Cast secured a stunning victory in the presidential election on Sunday, setting the stage for the country's most right-wing government in 35 years of democracy. Cast won 58.2% of the vote as Chileans overwhelmingly embraced his pledge to crack down on rising crime, deport hundreds of thousands of immigrants without legal status, and revive the sluggish economy of one of Latin America's most stable and prosperous nations.
Cast's supporters erupted into cheers in the streets as results trickled in, shouting his name and honking horns. His challenger, communist candidate Jeanette Jara, clinched 41.8% of the vote. Chileans are not alone in their demand for radical change. Cast's election represents the latest in a string of votes that have turfed out incumbent governments across Latin America, vaulting right-wing leaders to power from Argentina to Bolivia, as U.S. President Donald Trump looks to assert American dominance in the Western Hemisphere, in many cases punishing rivals and rewarding allies. Argentina's President Javier Milei, a radical libertarian closely aligned with Trump, was the first to congratulate Cast on his victory.
Investigators concluded that South Korea's ousted conservative president Yoon Suk-yeol plotted for over a year to impose martial law in order to eliminate his political rivals and monopolize power. The martial law decree in December 2024 lasted only several hours and resulted in his rapid downfall. Independent counsel announced the results of the 6-month probe, accusing the former president and his military allies of ordering operations against North Korea in a deliberate bid to stoke tensions and justify his plans to declare martial law.
Despite the lack of a serious response from North Korea, Cho said that Yoon declared martial law by branding the liberal-controlled legislature as anti-state forces that had to be urgently removed. There was no immediate reaction from Yoon, who is in jail while standing trial on high-stakes rebellion charges. Yoon has steadfastly maintained that his martial law declaration was a desperate attempt to draw public support for his fight against the main liberal opposition Democratic Party. Cho said Yoon and his military associates had schemed to enforce martial law since before October 2023, reshuffling top military officials to place allies in key posts while removing a defense minister who opposed their plan.
The Louvre Museum in Paris was forced to close on Monday as its employees went on strike over working conditions and pay, leaving thousands of would-be visitors disappointed. The walkout at the world's most visited museum was earlier backed unanimously by some 400 staff members, trade unions announced. They said understaffed museum workers were being required to cope with ever-increasing flows of visitors. Management did not comment immediately.
Nearly 2 months ago, burglars stole French crown jewels worth $102 million, exposing glaring security gaps. Last week, a water leak in the museum damaged hundreds of books. In their strike notice to Culture Minister Rachida Dati, the CFDT, CGT and SUD unions pointed to deteriorating working conditions and insufficient resources at the Louvre. CGT Representative Christian Galani said, "We need a change of approach regarding the priorities and urgent needs of the museum. The Louvre's reception and security sector has lost 200 full-time equivalent positions over 15 years, while visitor numbers have increased by half. Some people had already purchased tickets for Monday."
In October, MVV Energy announced plans to build what could be the most powerful heat pump module ever. Felix Hack, a project manager at MVV Environment, explained that 2-meter diameter pipes will draw river water in Mannheim and return it after heat has been extracted. The pipe supplying the heat pump, which will draw water from Germany's River Rhine, is so large that a person could walk through it fully upright. The system is planned to handle 10,000 liters per second, with 2 units, each having a capacity of 82.5 megawatts.
That is enough to supply around 40,000 homes in total via a district heating system. MVV Energy aims to build the system on the site of a coal power plant that is being converted to cleaner technologies. Refrigerants inside the heat pumps evaporate when they are warmed even slightly. By compressing the refrigerant, the heat is intensified further. This same process occurs in heat pumps designed for individual homes. It simply happens on a much larger scale in giant heat pumps that serve entire city districts. As towns and cities around the world seek to decarbonize, many are choosing to invest in large heat pumps that can be connected to district heating networks.
There's no secret that Avatar films are a gigantic technical feat, pushing the boundaries of cinematography, animation, and performance capture. But you may not be aware that the same applies to the music. Composer Simon Franklin says, work on the 3rd installment, Avatar Fire and Ash, took an epic 7 years to complete. Along the way, he wrote 1,907 pages of orchestra score and even invented new instruments for the residents of the alien planet Pandora to play.
And, with director James Cameron tinkering with the edit until the very last minute, the British musician only finished his final musical cue 5 days before the film was printed and delivered. In total, Avatar contains 4 times as much music as a standard Hollywood film, with almost the entirety of its 195-minute running time requiring music. Fire and Ash is the 3rd installment in the record-breaking series, continuing the saga of the Blue Na'vi population as they protect their planet from human invaders intent on stripping its natural resources. The new film, released on December 19, takes audiences back to the astonishingly vivid landscapes of Pandora while also sending them on a visceral emotional journey.
The answer for yesterday was B, crackdown. The government launched a severe crackdown on illegal demonstrations last month. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. Conservative and pro-Trump candidate wins Chilean election. Number 1, overwhelmingly, 压倒性地. The proposal was overwhelmingly approved by the committee. Number 2, embrace, 接受, 拥抱. He embraced the opportunity to study abroad. Number 3, crack down on, 镇压, 严厉打击. Authorities promised to crack down on illegal street vendors. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. Wright Brothers Day is observed every year in the United States to honor Orville and Wilbur Wright, the pioneers of human flight. The holiday commemorates their historic achievement on December 17, 1903, when they successfully completed the first controlled, sustained power airplane flight in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Orville piloted the first flight, which lasted 12 seconds and covered 120 feet, an event that changed transportation and technology forever. And that's all for today's FUNDAY news. Be sure to tune in to FUNDAY News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Helen, your host. I'll see you next time.